One of the ideas of Eupalinos is that the temple moves man. In this way architecture resembles music, but we must see how the temple moves man. By this, that the great reliefs flatten out as soon as one stops, as if the air of the depths were chased out of them. On the contrary, as soon as the spectator sets in motion, even a little, the temple immediately displaces its perspectives, and all the more so as the parts that appear juxtaposed are actually more distant from each other. But this is what we must try, for we never believe it enough, by moving only a step in front of the intersection of the arches and the spires, or in front of the eclipses of the colonnades. It is to explore the depth, and to make the solidity of the thing perceptible. It is therefore the death of the thing in its appearance that must be overcome by movement. Thus the monument calls us, but in a certain way, according to its structure. And Hegel well knew how to say that the Gothic cathedral forms the most energetic hall, by the opposition of the outside and the inside, by the enigma of the buttresses, and by the promise of the doors and this crowd of statues that make us away. A Greek colonnade moves us in another way. Thus the Madeleine would be more political than Notre Dame. But in any case we must move, and it is by movement that the monument makes us think. On the contrary, painting holds us immobile. Suppose a monument painted in the background of a painting. This image does not respond to our movements, and one does not observe this sliding of the columns that show and hide according to our steps, which immediately lowers the painted monument to the level of accessories, which, above all, warns us that this appearance must remain in the state of appearance, and that here the true is of us and not of the object. It is therefore deeply true that architecture and painting are not of the same age, for the powerful object of stone draws us to a common thought in such a way as to erase all meditation of oneself on oneself. It subjects us to the doctrine. But painting, on the contrary, by this appearance now fixed, denies being and divinizes existence. The miracle of painting is to give being to what passes. That is why everything can please in painting, a tree, a cloud, a reflection, by which we are immobile, in a way, to the second power, for we know very well that movement is a farewell to appearance and to oneself, but rather a kind of hymn to this solid world, and a massacre of appearances. A triumphal arch is perhaps the most eloquent object that exists. It is only a city gate, and separated from the walls. The small arch of the carousel is placed on this square as a sign. One sees other things through the opening. It is only a passage, but one must pass. Entering and leaving is one. Thus the military step awakens. Thus, by this door which is only a door, the enterprise which promises nothing, which gives life to the stone grenadier. He is waiting to leave. And below, the shadows on the sterile sand make oblivion and desert. For, by the virtue of this monument, which means absolutely the outside of oneself, one must pass through it, but one cannot stay.